Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here at the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your Planning Outlook video updated on Friday the 8th of December. In this video, we're trying to go a bit more in-depth into some of the more technical details of the forecast and go a bit further forwards to see what the longer range has in store. Now in the short term, it's cold and wintry conditions that dominate, and the most significant snow is forecast for parts of Wales and the Pennines through into Sunday. Otherwise, a generally cold outlook for the week ahead, most higher terrain remaining frozen, although some lift in temperatures looks believable into midweek. And the further outlook looks fairly unsettled as we run towards Christmas. It may become milder as the jet stream strengthens and areas of low pressure rattle in off the Atlantic. Let's have a look through temperatures, and this is the 850 millibar chart. It's a familiar one to you if you've watched these videos regularly. That's at around 4,500 feet in the atmosphere, and actually at this time through this week ahead it's almost down to 4,000 feet or lower, so it's a pretty good steer for the temperatures on the highest summits in Scotland. And currently we're at around -9, -10 at that level, which is more or less backed up by the observations. Cairngorm summit down at -8, and a few of the highest tops may have been lower than that over the past day or so. Let's run through this weekend, and we see an area of low pressure that skirts in across central and southern parts of Britain. Meanwhile, Scotland stays in the cold air throughout. And if we just go on into next week to set the scene of this, another area of low pressure passes eastwards across the English Channel into Monday. We go on into the start of next week, and we're staying at around -5. Yes, it's not the absolute depth of cold that we're just seeing at the moment, but it's still the cold air in place. Freezing levels well down across the mountains, so most terrain is remaining frozen. Subtle changes into midweek, freezing levels lifting for a time, and particularly across England and Wales, we might well find that it lifts above the summits, and as some rain comes in, a bit of sleet maybe, we do see a thaw of the lying snow that will have fallen. Just moving towards the end of the week, and it stays generally on the cool side, cool or cold, with temperatures on the mountains below freezing most likely, and then freezing level may come down a bit more, back to say 600-700 metres pretty widely by the end of the week, as winds again are north-northwesterlies. Let's have a look through the synoptic charts then, and first of all for the weekend we've got the northwesterly wind still across the country on Saturday. Snow showers most frequent across northern Scotland, a few bands running down the Irish Sea into North Wales and maybe the western side of the Pennines. Fronts though are ganging up over the Atlantic, and that's an area of low pressure bringing the interest into Sunday. That will have moved eastwards across central southern Britain through Sunday early hours and into the daytime. Now the zone of snow is most focused across North and Mid Wales into the Peak District and the Pennines. How far north into the lakes and the North Pennines is still open to some questions, so keep an eye on local details there. For most of Scotland though, it should be a dry day with very little wind. You can see hardly an isobar on the chart in that part of the world, so not too much wind around. Some excellent visibility, superb visibility in most areas here with the Arctic air mass that's still in place. Some snow showers may just come down into the Northern Highlands though, so watch things in the far north for just some snow flurries coming in. All your local details, of course, updated every single day here on the website. Monday, a bit of a tricky one. We've got another area of low pressure trying to spin up in the southwestern approaches, then tracking up the English Channel, and that may well bring some snowfalls to central and southern England. For the mountain regions, though, it may not be such a bad day with the wind coming in from the north or the northeast. A zone of residual snow may well affect parts of Wales and the South Pennines. Some snow showers dotted around the northern coastal mountains in Scotland, but for much of the Lake District, central southern Scotland, again, a little bit like Sunday. A bright day, some banks of low cloud possible just for a time, but visibility again should be excellent. Gradual changes in the pressure pattern through into Tuesday just change the wind direction back more towards the west or northwest through this time. A fairly quiet day, one or two areas of snow showers still around the western coastal mountains in Scotland, one or two wintry flurries elsewhere across western hills in England and Wales, but many places dry. Some low cloud may plague some western summits, and eastern areas faring best for the brightest skies. Fronts over the Atlantic trying to nudge their way further in with time. So some uncertainty for Wednesday, but it may well be a windier day as fronts pass eastwards. Within that was the milder air that we saw in the previous charts, and some areas of rain, sleet and snow, a bit of a messy mixture really, I think, particularly across England and Wales, but across Scotland could still be some snowfalls, perhaps something quite significant in places if a front becomes slow moving. Low confidence exactly where that's going to be, but the prospect for a poorer weather day, one where low cloud and areas of snow are possible and could persist in some areas. Winds may well be up to gale force. Towards the end of the week, it looks as though we're still in a rather chilly, unsettled pattern, a possible strong to gale force northwesterly winds around for a time. Pressure trying to build may bring just quieter but still chilly weather into the weekend, uncertainties of detail and timing, before as we go into the following week, indications favour a more southwesterly type of airstream with milder conditions and possibly some heavy rain. And looking a bit further ahead, this is the trend towards Christmas then. It's the latest charts that we've got, and this is the pressure anomaly, the 7-day anomaly between the 22nd and 28th of December. It's in the middle layers of the atmosphere, and it gives us a usable steer for how the general weather trends are shaping up. And what we can take from this is the idea of the jet stream coming across the Atlantic with quite a bit more strength than we've seen in recent times. The bluer colours indicate lower than average pressures, and therefore fairly unsettled weather looking believable. Higher pressure is indicated by the red colours. It may well be that the jet stream is tracking a little bit further south than average. It's more or less where the boundary is between the greens and the oranges, and tracking then towards Biscay and possibly even into Central Europe. So what we could find for us is that we see areas of low pressure move more directly across the British Isles, which gives the scope for colder air being drawn into the northern side of the country at times. So a bit of back and forth temperatures looking believable. I'd be surprised if we're genuinely mild to the extent that we have been this time of year in recent Decembers. But maybe just not quite as sustained with cold weather as what we're seeing just at the moment. High pressure towards the north is still quite strong, and if that can build itself back in, we might find a blocking setup where we start to lose the jet stream's influence again, and we could find something more sustained for wintry weather further down the line. Now, of course, a lot could yet change with those longer range details, so stay right up to date with us here at the Mountain Weather Information Service. In the meantime, enjoy the wintry weather while it's here and stay safe on the mountains. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.